Do you want to hear about my $1 million a year mistake? You're in the right place. Let's chat. Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone with the Comeback Agent, and I'd like to share a little story with you today that I've discovered probably cost me $1 million a year. And it's a real estate story. So let's go ahead and jump in real quick. Um, I've been licensed for 31 years. I sold real estate for 17. In the last 15 years or so, I've been coaching. I haven't been actively selling homes. You kind of have to understand the background here real quick to understand what happened. So over those 17 years, I was able to sell just over 990 properties. I think it's around 995. And I had a slow start in the beginning, by the way, 5 homes the first 6 months, 7 homes the next year, then 20 homes for a couple of years, kind of got stuck there, but eventually built up to about 113 homes in my top year. And over that entire time, it was just under 1,000 properties. So I'm currently, I stopped selling real estate for 15 years to pursue other things, and I'm currently going to get back into real estate. So the first place I looked is my PCSOI. That's how I would advise anyone who is getting into the business. Develop that list of your sphere of influence, your friends, family, past clients. And then if you happen to have sold business in the past, but you haven't been keeping up, that's your past client section. And that's something you want to develop. So I went back, I'm like, well, I've got a great database of past clients. I should go back and look at that first. And so I went through this research project, and I got to tell you, I didn't keep the best records in the early days, so I don't have most of that. I did find a couple different databases I was able to cobble together and sift and sort and try to clean up. And I'm currently working my way through that database. And so let me give you some of those numbers. So basically, it was about 995 or so people, and the total transactions. That's my best guess based on what I can remember of my production. But from that, and these databases, I was able to get down to 608 potential past clients. I had to look at the list to make sure. And now I've been working through that to see what's going on. So let me just tell you some interesting stuff. Like the first group, the first 10 that I made it through, because I was curious what happened to these people. And so what I've done is I've been doing research into the public record system. So I'm using my MLS features to see sales. Sometimes I'm looking in the MLS under someone's name for ownership. And then sometimes I'm looking into the public record side of that. Your MLS may call it something different. And looking into those records. And that's been very, very fruitful because I can see a timeline of when deeds have been moving across and what's happened in ownership. Anyway, the bottom line is this: the first 10 records, just randomly sorted. I just started going through it. The first 10, seven of these properties sold. These people sold that property and bought another property. So I missed out on that. 2 out of the 10 rented the property. They kept it, rented it, and then bought another property. And 1 still lives in the property. So now let me give you again timeline perspective. This is 15 years plus. So 15 to 30 years ago, this is what's happening. So the first thing that should pop up in your mind is you should keep a really good track of your database. See, I did not. The other thing is, these people didn't have me to use, so they used another agent. They're now in somebody else's world as their agent, and big, huge loss there. And that was kind of my realization as I took that first 10 and I extrapolated out. Well, if this is what happened to the rest of the list, where am I at? What did I miss out on? And my best guess calculation, now this is just an estimate, there's just my best guess based on everything that's going on, is I probably missed out on about 64 closings per year out of that database, right? That's how much it was generating. Now, whether I would have captured all of it or not, I don't know, but that's how many I can actually see, okay? Extrapolate it out. And by the way, I'll give you a little more information. I've actually gone beyond the original 10. I'm already down to 450. I'm about 75% of the way through the list, and the numbers are holding pretty solid that this is what's happening throughout the list. Over 90% of the list has already moved and done something without me. Now, by the way, I didn't make myself available to them, but if I had stayed in there, oh my gosh. And see, that's why I think my mistake was. I think my mistake was I should have stayed in the game and just done this on the side, just done it part time with an administrative assistant. I think we could have easily handled that volume because these are all repeating referrals, right? They're pretty easy. In fact, these were all just the repeats. And from those 64 transactions, to try to give this some depth, my price is pretty high in my market now. We've moved up pretty high. In fact, when I started, it was really low nationally, but now we're pretty high nationally. We used to be in maybe the bottom quartile. Now we're in the top 5 most expensive markets. So my average price home here in my area is about 700,000. So I'm estimating an average commission, just to round it out, at about 20,000. So I'm trying to figure out how much GCI was there. And so on that 64 closings, you can start doing the math, right? That's about 1.2 million a year in lost GCI, about 100,000 a month by not keeping up with that database. Yeah, it's pretty hard to stomach, but it's the reality of it. That's the power of building up a good database, and then you bear the fruit of it. And I built it up, but didn't bear the fruit of it at the end. That was the error. So that's my best guess. And if you take the 1.2 million and you multiply it over the 15 years, because it would have been for all 15 years, you ready? It's $18 million in GCI lost. That's a pretty big number, and that's only the repeats. That's only what I'm actually seeing. That doesn't include any referrals that they would have sent me with friends and family and the like, which I estimate, I think I'm being conservative, I think that would have doubled the number. So this is potentially a $36,000 loss over the last 15 years by not staying in the game and at least just doing it part-time. And a friend of mine came up with a good idea. He said, well, why didn't you just refer this out? You could have just, if you didn't want to do the business anymore, you could have just at least referred it out. And if we do that calculation, you're looking at I only charge a 20% referral fee when I would give referrals out. It was pretty low. I know some people do 25 and 30, but just taking my 20% on the 18 mil, we're talking about 3.6 million over the last 15 years. That's a pretty good chunk of change just for referring some business out. So remember, that's another option for you if you build up your database. So again, the reason I got into this exercise here is I'm trying to see what's left of my PCSOI. Can I utilize it moving forward with my goal to re-enter real estate after a 15-year absence and sell 25 homes my first year? And the first wise thing to do would be to go back and see if there's anything in that PCSOI. And so that's what I'm doing, and why I found out this disturbing fact, these numbers. Anyway, let me know what you think about that down in the comments section below. Do you think this is a valuable lesson for you? Do you think that it makes sense? Do you think I did the numbers wrong? Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, if you like this video, if this has been helpful in any way, please give us a thumbs up so other people can hear about it as well. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more information like this. Again, thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Hope you have a fantastic day and a productive day. Keep moving forward. Bye for now.